Everyone, and welcome back to Slowpoke Racing and to the Ultimate Racing League. We are still in New South Wales in Australia at Bathurst, and we're here for race 2 of the GT3 Wednesday Evening Championship. Cracking race in race 1. There was little battles going on all over the grid, so we're hoping for a bit more of that this time around, aren't we? This one is I really need to get more organised. I keep saying it, don't I? But I just don't do it. I need to get more organised. This one is a random grid, actually. So the guys are just picked, as I say, randomly, dumped on the grid, basically. So let's have a bit of a look down and see where everybody is, shall we? As you can see, Viking has managed to get himself on pole position. Next to him is Nath. Grasshopper is 3rd. 4th is Stealth. 5th on the grid is Method. 6th is Willard. 7th is Wadrew. Unforgiven is 8th on the grid, with T. Bennett just behind him in 9th. Brian Moncani alongside him in 10th. Then we've got Stormfly in 11th with Neil Farmack, race 1 winner, all the way down in 12th, but he is alongside Stormfly, so it'll be a good battle between those two. Carlsberg in 13th, Cy in 14th, and Vane is 15th on the grid. And unfortunately, Ghost Pepper has not made it back after his retirement from race 1 from, I can only guess technical issues. I hope that's all it is, and that he himself is okay, and he'll be back next week. So 15 on the grid, still a good turnout. So if I can get the right camera, there we go. Let's get this race underway, shall we? So we'll get 5 lights lit, and we shall get this race underway. Now, as I mentioned in race 1, we are at Mt Panorama at Bathurst. It's 3.8 miles, 23 turns. There's a few more turns than that, but they're not officially counted. But what a fantastic start by Grasshopper from 3rd to 1st. Nath dropping to 2nd. Then we've got Stealth in 3rd. Nath started in 2nd, didn't he? Of course he did. Stealth in 3rd. He's alongside Viking. It's Viking that's just lost out on a few places. And already we've got cars lined up side by side as we're going into turn 2 at Griffin's Bend. And Viking, he's trying to go around the outside of Stealth. Stealth holding on to it and managing to, well, I was going to say he's held on to 3rd, but he's not. He's dropping down the pack. Let's have a look and see what's happened there, because I thought Stealth got through there quite cleanly, actually. Viking having a look on the outside, nowhere really for him to go. Stealth just held strong, stuck to his line. In fact, he backed out of that one a little bit. Oh, now there may have been a slight touch there, and I think that's why Stealth has slowed down. Look, he's pulled right over to the side, I think, to let Viking back through. So I think Stealth took a bit of responsibility there. I'm not sure he could do much about it, but that's cost him quite a few places. So Stealth now down in 8th, Viking down in 6th from pole position. But what a fantastic start for Grasshopper. He is just gone. He is on the soft tyres now. It is soft and hard tyres that have to be used in this race. So the guys will be making a pit stop. So obviously Grasshopper's strategy is to get out in front, tick, just open up a gap. Well, yeah, he's starting to open up a gap, but it's not big enough at the minute. But then again, we are only about, halfway through lap 1. But that will be his plan, just get him as much distance between himself and the rest of the pack. Nath in 2nd, also on the soft tyres in the BMW. He's going to try and stick with Grasshopper. It'll be nice if he can get into the slipstream and get a bit of a free tow from Grasshopper as they come down Conrod Straight. But he'll be doing pretty much the same, actually, just trying to get a bit of a gap between himself and the rest of the pack. Willard then also on the soft tyres, sitting in 3rd, hoping for a bit more of a race this time around. He was a bit lonely for him in race 1, so he'll be hoping to just stick with a couple of the other guys. Then we've got Method in the Porsche. He's sitting in P4 at the minute, also on the soft tyres. Brian Moncani in 5th. He's the first of the guys on the hard tyres, and being chased by Neil Farmack in the Ferrari, also on the hard tyres. So some of the quicker guys already making their way through, as Neil Farmack started in 12th and is already up to 6th, so he's definitely on a mission and looking for his 2nd win of the day, practically pushing Brian Moncani along as they go up through the mountain straight. He's having a bit of a look, isn't he, on the outside. Brian Moncani holding fast on that inside line. We'll just stick with these two as they come up towards Griffin Bend at turn 2. Neil Farmack's going to have to go around the outside unless he tries to cut back but Brian, I think he's a bit wise for that. But no, Neil Farmack takes it all the way around the outside. What a fantastic overtake from Neil. And Woodrew's capitalised as well. Rod Woodrew just says, oh, I'll have a piece of that as well. Saw the gap and took advantage. So poor O'Brien now down in 7th after that overtake by Neil Farmack. I think it just caught him out. He wasn't expecting it. But he's now down in 7th. He's got Stormfly chasing him down. Stormfly on the hard tyres as well for this first stint. So I'm guessing they're going to be coming in around about halfway, about lap 7, something like that. We shall see as Stormfly tries to put the pressure on Brian Moncani as they go through the Essie, through the Big Dipper, then down towards through the Dipper, then down towards Forest Elbow at turn 18. Stormfly will be looking to get right underneath the rear wing of that AMG of Brian Moncani so he can get into the slipstream and make a move on him before they get down towards the chase at the end of Conrad Straight. And Stormfly trying his best to keep up with the likes of Neil Farmack, who is pushing through. Where is Neil? Neil's sitting in 5th at the minute, Stormfly sitting in 8th, and Stormfly having a look at making a move on Brian Moncani as they come down towards the chase. Stormfly having a bit of a look, but that was more just to get in the mirrors of Brian Moncani, let him know he's there. Stealth in 9th in the GTR, just keeping up with these guys and going along for the ride, getting a bit of a free tow, especially on the straights. So Stealth right in the mix at the minute. Unforgiven sitting there in 10th. Also on the hard tyres. What's Stealth on? Stealth is on the soft, so he should have the advantages in the turns. A bit more grip. You see he's just having a bit of a cheeky look up the inside of Stormfly, but never really going to make a move on him there. Maybe he can get something done on the mountain straight now before we get to Griffin's. Let's see if the GTR has got the beans to keep up with those AMGs in front. Stormfly obviously getting a tow from Brian Moncani as they come up towards turn 2. Then Unforgiven in 10th. He's getting a bit of a tow from Stealth. Bennett in the Supra. Fantastic racing he had in race 1, didn't he, with the likes of Woodrew. And Bennett sitting there in 11th, just ready to pounce if it all goes wrong for the guys up ahead of him. Carlsberg in 12th in that Genesis. A fantastic looking car actually. Again, I think I mentioned it in race 1. I do like it. It's quite simple but very effective. So well done to Carlsberg for the livery on that one. But sitting there in 12th in the minute, a bit lonely for him. Then we've got Sai in 13th in the Ferrari. Again, another great looking car, but not having a great race. Viking down in 14th now, so Viking really not enjoying this track, is he? Had a lot of technical issues, as we've mentioned before, at the beginning of this season, but seems to have got them sorted out. So now it is just a case of getting back into the swing of racing. He is a very quick guy actually, he's Viking. He just seems to be struggling around here. And then we've got Vane in 15th in the Subaru. Very tricky car to handle, and you could just see there Vane getting a bit squirrely on the exit of the S's. So yeah, very tough car to drive. Oh, Sai got it all wrong coming out of Forest and hit the barrier, and that's going to allow Vane to get a little bit closer to him, so those two could be having a bit of a fight as the race progresses. Back up to the top though, and Grasshopper really is, everything's going according to plan for him. The gap is now starting to open up. As we mentioned at the beginning of this race, he's doing exactly what he needs to do, and that's opened up a big gap between himself and the rest of the pack. Nate's still sitting in 2nd, so good race for him so far. We are only lap 4 and just approaching 7 minutes, so plenty of racing left, but all going according to plan for Nath at the minute. Method also sitting in 3rd, although Willard has caught him right up. Let's jump on board with Willard, shall we? Sorry, wrong Method. We want to go with Willard. There we go. So we can see the back of that Porsche as we just come up into the cut-in at turns 4, 5, 6 and 7 through Quarry Corner onto Frog Hollow. Frog Hollow is the left-hander that we're just about to come up to now. Here we go, and that takes us on to Sulman Park, McPhillamy Park, at the highest point on this track. Now I mentioned it in race 1, it's a 174 metre difference in elevation change between the highest point and the lowest point on this track, and this is where they start the descent as they hit the S's into the Dipper. bang, there we go, and now it is downhill all the way from here as Willard tries to get back onto the back of Method's Porsche so he can get into the slipstream on the Conrad Straight. Just a quick look behind us, and that is not a sight you want to be seeing. Neil Farmack's Ferrari chasing you down, so Willard will be conscious of that, sitting in fourth, but Neil Farmack not that far behind now. Then there is a bit of a gap between himself and Wadrew. I'm not so sure Wadrew is picking up the slipstream at the minute of Neil Farmack, but Wadrew having a decent race up to now on the hard tyres, sitting in 6th position. He's just going to try and stay with Neil Farmack. Then we've got Stormfly in 7th, Brian Moncani in 8th. In fact, Wadrew's actually managed to get by Stormfly because he was behind him, wasn't he? So sorry we missed that, but Wadrew has made the overtake on Stormfly. Stormfly down into 7th and Brian Moncani in 8th. Stealth still there in 9th. Just trying to make a move on Brian Moncani as we just follow on through turn 1 at Hell Corner, then on to the mountain straight, and this is where we start the climb up towards the mountains. Stealth tucked right underneath Brian Moncani. Is he going to have a look? Let's jump on board with Stealth so we can get a view of Griffin's Bend at turn 2, and Stealth just really not interested. Oh, a bit of a bumper kiss there with Brian Moncani. I think Brian had to slow down. He is on the hard tyres, so his braking point is going to be slightly different to Stealth's. Into the cut-in section at turns 3, 4 and 5. Quick look behind us, and that's what we can see. Unforgiven bearing down on us in that black and green machine. So across the top and the parks, wave to the crowd on the right, all standing there at the bottom of their gardens. And Stealth doing a great job at the minute of keeping up with Brian Moncani in that AMG as they now enter the S's. And we'll just stick with Stealth just to show you what it's like for him in the GTR into the dipper. So easy to lose control at that point as the car thumps down into that sharp left-hander. Then into Forest Elbow at turn 18. Then we've got turn 19, this is more of a kink in the road really, and then we're onto the Conrad Straight, and this is where the slipstream really kicks in. It is just a case of can the GTR keep up with that AMG. Unforgiven picking up a toe from both of them really, so I'm expecting him to get a little bit closer. Now then, is Stealth going to get close enough to make a move on Brian Moncani before they get to the chase at turn 21? I don't think he is. No, he's just going to have to sit there for the time being. Same with Unforgiven, although Unforgiven may be having a look at Stealth now as they come down towards Murray's at turn 23. No, Unforgiven quite happy to just sit there, I think, actually, and just pick up the toe. Carlsberg in 11th. He's actually catching up with these guys in that Genesis. So Brian Moncani really holding them up, I think. He's doing a good job of defending, to be fair, but Carlsberg has now been given the opportunity to catch up to the back of Unforgiven, although the tyres are starting to wear. You can see he's about 40-45% on the front right of Carlsberg's car, so these guys will start thinking about pit stops. Viking down in 12th, Bennett now talking of pit stops. It looks like Bennett has already come in, so he's the first to pull the trigger then. So Bennett has been in and got a fresh set of boots on and a splash of fuel, and he's on the soft tyres now. I think that may be just a little bit too early for him. He's got another, what we're looking at, 13 minutes to go, so we're looking around about another 7 or 8 laps, I think. So it'll be interesting to see if Bennett can make those tyres last. Vane in 14th, a little way off the pace. Then we've got Sight in 15th, really struggling on this track at the minute. But I'm sure there are going to be tracks coming up where he can come into his own, and we'll see more of him. So back to the front then, and Grasshopper really has opened up quite a decent lead now. He will start to be thinking about his pit stop, as everybody will. We'll probably have quite a rush into the pits within the next sort of 2-3 laps, I think. We're going to see everybody coming in. The guys on the hard tyres will come in to get rid of those and get onto the softs, and the guys on the soft tyres at the minute are going to have to come in because they're worn out. Nath still in second, Method still in third. And there we go, Neil Farmack is in, and just as we predicted, there's going to be a few other guys coming in. So Neil is in, Wadru is in, Stormfly is in. Let's have a look and see what Brian O'Connor has stayed out. Wadru's, well, there's lots of them in. I'm not going to sit there looking at guys in the pit lanes. Colesberg down in 8th. Viking goes through. He's staying out on the soft tyres, so he now goes through to P9 and staring at the back of Colesberg. So Viking is getting closer, I think. So we'll just have a look and see where what's happening with Grasshopper and the tyre situation. So about 50-55% on that front right. This being a anti-clockwise track, obviously the outside right is going to take more punishment than the left, although Grasshopper's pretty good at looking after his tyres. Let's have a look at the fastest lap. He's also got the fastest lap at the minute at 2:04.6. He got that on lap 2, although the rest of the laps have all been in the 2:04s, so very consistent from Grasshopper. As I say, he will be thinking about when to make his stop. If his lap times do start to suffer, then he will be coming in, I'm sure. Probably, in fact, looking at his fuel, I've just noticed his fuel, he's probably only got one more lap left in that tank anyway. So we'll just keep an eye on it to see whether he comes in now. And there we go, yeah, so Grasshopper's in, and I think that's more fuel dictated than tyres. So race leader is in. Is Nath going to come in as well? Yes, he is. Method will probably do the same, or will he? No, Method has looked after his fuel a little bit better, so he's decided to stay out for another lap. So Method will take up the lead of this race temporarily. Willard has also stayed out, again looked after his fuel a little bit better. So Method now in P1, Willard in P2, Grasshopper, Nath, Brian Moncarney, Stealth, Unforgiven, Colesberg all in the pits. Neil Farmack, who has made a stop, has just come out to the exit of the chase and heading down towards Murray's. He's got Woodrow tucked right underneath his chuff, and Stormfly sniffing around the rear end of Woodrow as well. So these three are just about to come into turn 1. Now then, let's have a look and see who is where. Method is he's up in the mountain section at the minute, but has yet to make a pit stop. Willard has not pitted yet. The fuel light is now flashing. Viking also is going to have to come in at the end of this lap. Grasshopper, he has made it out onto track in P4 on the hard tyres, so he has got out in front of the likes of Neil Farmack and Wadru. So has Nath. Nath has come out, but oh no, he's picked up 1.5 second penalty, so he will soon be falling into the clutches of Neil Farmack, Woodrow and Stormfly, and that is so unlucky for Nath. He was having such a great race as well. He has gone onto the hard tyres, and it looks to me like they've just caught him out. He's had a bit of a touch of the barrier, and he's got 1.5 second penalty, and to be honest, I don't think Nath is going to put up much of a fight here, because these quick guys really have just caught him up and pounced on him. Yeah, there you go. Nath has just, he's put the brakes on, pulled over. Good racing really from Nath. He knew that he was going to have to serve a penalty. He didn't want to get involved in a battle, especially through that section of the track. So well done to Nath really. Could have caused chaos, but he didn't. Very, very sensible driving from Nath. So well done to him. It has cost him. He is down in 8th, although the 1.5 second penalty would have probably put him there anyway. So as we can see in the top left, the two leaders are in, Method and Willard. So is Viking going to come in as well? Yeah, he's got to because of the fuel situation. So Grasshopper will take over the lead of this race once more on the hard tyres though, with, let's have a look, about 8 minutes to go. Well, about 7.5 minutes to go. So Grasshopper has got 3.5 laps, something 4 laps to go to hang on to this lead. So Grasshopper taking over the lead. Now then, where is Neil Farmack? Neil Farmack, Stormfly, Wadru, all coming around turn 1 at Hell's Corner. Will Method get out? Method has got out, so Method has rejoined in P2. Willard has come out in P3, but soon he's going to drop down the order because Neil Farmack is alongside him on the inside as they come up the hill towards Griffin's Bend. Now then, Neil Farmack is going to get the job done before turn 2. Is Stormfly going to go through as well? Yes, he is. So Stormfly made it. Now then, oh, this is going to be frustrating for Wadru. He really wanted to keep up with those guys. Oh, he's managed to get through. So again, I think Willard might have just moved over and let Wadru through. So these three guys that are having an absolute tremendous battle at the minute, Neil Farmack, Stormfly and Wadru, all still sticking together. They are going to come up against a few guys, well, the back marker guys. Willard down in 6th, Bennett in 7th, then we've got Nath down in 8th, Unforgiven 9th, Brian Moncani 10th, Viking 11th, Carlsberg 12th, then we've got Stealth, Sai and Vane, and it does look like everybody has made their start, and Sai has got a second penalty as well, which is not going to help his cause. It's not going to alter his track position because Vane is just too far back, but I'm sure he'll be cursed. He'll be glad to see the back of Mt Panorama and move on to the next track, which is, where is it? Let's have a look. I have got it written down. I am a little bit organised. It is going to be at Tokyo, the south counter-clockwise track, so that's going to be a fantastic race, that is. Go back up to the top then. Grasshopper still leading this race. He is on the hard tyres and he has got this little group of 4 now chasing him down. Neil Farmack in 2nd, 3rd is Stormfly. Now then, Method has managed to get back in front of Wadru, so I'm not quite sure what happened to Wadru, but Method has got in front of him. Wadru getting very frustrated at the minute as the two Porsches now go head to head. Let's jump on board with Wadru. We've not been on board with anybody for a while, have we? So into turn 1 at Hell Corner. It is Porsche against Porsche. Wadru getting a bit frustrated. He doesn't want to let Neil Farmack and Stormfly get too far ahead of him. He needs to stay in touch with them. Method though putting up a great fight. Now then, as Wadru has a look. Oh, he goes to go to the outside. No, blocked by Method. Method doesn't want to let Wadru through, does he? But I think Wadru's managed to get it done finally at turn 2 at Griffin's, and there is a bit of a gap now between himself and Stormfly, so Wadru will be pushing hard. He really needs to make up that gap if he wants to get on the podium. He doesn't want to let those two guys get too far away. They are all on the soft tyres. A quick look behind. Method is still there in the Porsche as we come on over the top onto the highest part of the track. And Wadru really is pushing. He's just not let up on that accelerator at all, has he? Into the S's, and we start down the hill now, going through the gears into the dipper. Great car control from Wadru as we go through this section of the track, then into Forest Elbow at turn 18. Back on the power as early as you possibly can. He's just outside the slipstream, I think, but Stormfly is definitely picking it up from Neil Farmack, but can he get close enough? He is looking at what, a car and a half's length gap between the two of them now. Stormfly just about to catch up as they get to the end of Conrod Straight and couldn't get anything done. Neil Farmack just manages to hold on to P2. All the while these guys are gaining on Grasshopper up ahead. Let's have a look at the time. We have about 3.5 minutes to go, so we are looking at 2 more laps, I think. So from the top then, Grasshopper still out in front, and if we just look, I was looking behind him and to see if we could see Neil Farmack and we couldn't, so the gap is still a decent gap, but it is closing. Nearly in second, winner of race 1 with Stormfly, who came in second actually in race 1. He's now holding on to P3. Gone a purple sector as well, and we've had a change of the fastest lap as well. Neil Farmack in that Ferrari has got a 2:04.1, which he got on lap 8, so that would have been just after the pit stop, straight onto a fresh set of soft tyres. And you can see Stormfly really putting in the pressure on Neil Farmack. Neil though will be loving this. He doesn't succumb to this kind of pressure. He's just not bothered. You can do what you like, Stormfly, you are not going to upset Neil Farmer. We'll leave them to it for a second. Wadru just falling back off the back of these guys just a little bit. He's just outside that slipstream range, and with Stormfly picking up the slip from Neil Farmer, that's not going to help Wadru. Method still holding on to 5th, so it's been a good race for him actually. He's got to be pleased with this, and he's got quite a good decent gap back to Bennett in 6th. So Method, although he's on the hard tyres, he's just got to hold on. Bennett, who came in very early and switched to the softs, I'm sort of surprised actually that they've managed to last, but I think they will. They'll take him to the end of the race. Willard in 7th, he's having his own little battle with Unforgiven, so it's the 2 BMWs going at it now then. Is Unforgiven going to make a move on Willard before they get to the end of Conrad Straight? He pulls out. Willard on the inside, although I think Unforgiven's got the job done before they even get to the chase, so a fantastic move for him. Not a lot Willard could do about that. That was all about the slipstream there, and Unforgiven made it look very easy indeed as they go down the hill towards Murray's Corner at turn 23 for the 11th time. So one more lap for these guys. Nath down in 9th in the another BMW. He's got Brian Moncarney chasing him down. Bit of a mixed race for Brian Moncarney. Started off well. It just seemed to all go wrong for him after he lost them couple of places very early on. But he's still going and getting closer and closer to Nath as he goes up the mountain straight towards turn 2 at Griffin's. Brian not close enough though, I don't think, to get the job done here, so he's just going to have to follow Nath through this mountain section now and hope that Nath makes a mistake. Then we've got Viking down in 11th. It's all getting very lonely for him now. Goldsberg in 12th. These the guys at the back all very spread out. Stealth in 13th with Sight in 14th, and looks like he's struggling for fuel, so he may be having to do a little bit of saving. As I say, this is a long track. It's 3.8 miles. Vane, oh, he's had issues, hasn't he? You can see he's got damage at the front, so not been a great outing for Vane to Australia, but he'll be back fighting again another day. So back up to the top then, and it is Grasshopper out in front, and Neil Farmack. You can see Neil Farmack not that far behind him now, with Stormfly just behind Neil, but we are on the final lap. So through the chase for the last time goes Grasshopper. He's just got to keep it on the grey stuff. You can see how quickly Neil has caught up, but this is going to be Grasshopper's race if he can just hold on for this final turn at Murray's. Around we go, nice and safe, so a great win for Grasshopper, and just look how quickly Neil Farmer caught up. Neil in 2nd, Stormfly in 3rd, Wadru in 4th. Fantastic racing from those 3 guys especially. Method across the line in 5th, he'll be pleased with that. Good result for him. Bennett across the line in 6th. Then we've got Unforgiven in 7th, Willard in 8th. And then I'm not quite sure what's happening at the back there, but it is a race to the line for 9th, and Nath just about gets it ahead of Brian Moncarney. Viking around the final turn to take P11. And across the line he goes. Carlsberg, he's going to bring that Genesis home in 12th. Stealth is going to finish in 13th. 12th, sorry, Stealth is going to finish in 12th. What did I just say that? I don't know what I said. Stealth is going to finish in 12th, and Sight is going to be 13th, with Vane already finishing in 14th. So across the line goes Stealth, and Sight, well, he's just rolling down, isn't he? I think he's just given up. Well, he's run out of fuel as well, so poor old Sight. Not been a great race for Sight, but never mind, we've got Tokyo to look forward to next week. So Sight just nurses that Ferrari home. So there we go, that was race 2, a fantastic race as well. So as I say, next week we're going to be at Tokyo. My next my next broadcast will be our Sunday season. It starts this weekend actually, and I shall be doing the comms for League One. So keep an eye out for that. If you've enjoyed these races, then please remember to hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, could you do so, please? I am one short of the 200, and it would mean the world to me if I could actually hit 200 subscribers. So, as I say, if you've not subscribed, please do so. It really would help me out. Thank you very much for watching, and I shall catch you all very soon.